Are you planning a New Zealand road trip in 2026 but you're not sure how rising fuel prices will affect your budget? In this video I'll cover what fuel actually costs right now, your best transport options and the smartest ways to save, including one that could cut your fuel bill big time. Let's get started. So New Zealand imports the majority of its fuel, which means when global prices spike, New Zealand feels it pretty fast. Petrol at the pump has crossed New Zealand $3.50 a litre for the 91 grade. The New Zealand government has confirmed the country holds approximately 52 days of fuel reserves. Air New Zealand has cut 1,100 flights and has already flagged fares increases on domestic routes. Here's the key point for you, and this is what the local news coverage isn't saying clearly enough. New Zealand roads are completely operational. Every highway, every scenic route, every inter-island ferry, all running normally. Clearly, this is not an access issue, but a cost impact issue. The good news is that your trip is still on, but what you need are accurate numbers to plan your trip properly. And those numbers, well, they may actually surprise you. Let me show you those. So a 14-day South Island self-drive itinerary covers around 2,000 kilometers. Christchurch down to 𝗤𝗏𝗄, Dunedin, across to Fiordland, back to Wanaka and the West Coast and back to Christchurch. Let's say a standard petrol car uses approximately 10 liters for 100 kilometers. At $3.50 a litre, that's 700 New Zealand dollars in fuel for the full trip. 3 months ago, at around $2 per litre, the same trip would have cost you approximately 400 New Zealand dollar. Just for your information, 1 New Zealand dollar is currently US dollars 58 cents or in euro 50 cents. So the net difference for a couple sharing that car is around about 300 New Zealand dollars for the entire 14-day. That's real money, but it's manageable money. Before I continue, let me ask you this. Has the fuel situation already changed how you're thinking about your New Zealand trip? Drop a yes or no in the comments box below. I'll read all of those comments. Now, if you're doing a full North and South Island road trip, that's closer to 3,000 kilometers. The impact of that scales up proportionately. And if you're in a larger motorhome, which typically burns between 15 and 18 liters per 100 kilometers, you're looking at a higher number again. Also, diesel fuel, though, has become especially costly, as with motorhome rentals, you still need to pay the road user charge, which we locally know here as diesel tax, which currently is about $8 per 100 kilometers. Check out my video on motorhome rentals and all the policies and conditions in the description box below. But here's where this gets very interesting, because there are 4 ways to get you around New Zealand in 2026, and one of them removes the fuel questions entirely. Let me run through those options. So let's map this out properly. Option A, petrol rental cars. This is still the most flexible option for exploring New Zealand. Cost impact is real but manageable, as we just covered. The right choice for most itineraries, especially those covering both islands, the North and the South Island, or remote locations. Check out your best rental car options on the Discovery Cars and Drive Now comparison website, which I have linked in the description box below. Option B, camper van and motorhomes. Higher fuel consumption, especially for larger ones, but offset significantly by accommodation savings. If you're planning freedom camping or holiday parks, a camper van or motorhome can still stack up well financially, even at today's prices. I've done another full video on camper vans in New Zealand. Check out the link in the description box below. Option C, domestic flights. Here's the one that surprises people most. Air New Zealand fares have increased. Yes, if your itinerary lies on flying between the islands, which I often recommend to save time and money, book those flights as early as possible for the best fares, not just before you depart home. Option D, electric rental cars. Most people think you cannot do a New Zealand road trip in an electric car because they fear that the kilometer range isn't there or the charging network isn't reliable. But this is actually not the case anymore. I've done 2 full videos on rental cars in New Zealand that I recommend watching alongside this one. I'll cover the costs of rental cars in New Zealand. The links are in the description box below. Right, we're halfway through this video and the next section is the one most New Zealand travel guides completely miss. I'm going to give you a real honest look at electric vehicle rentals in 2026, the charging networks, the actual range, which routes work and where the limits are, especially for the South Island. If you find this video helpful, please hit the subscribe button below to stay in touch for more helpful travel videos to come. Also, please tick that little like button as it helps our channel to grow. Thank you very much. Right, electric vehicles or EVs. At current petrol prices, renting an electric vehicle in New Zealand is not just a viable option for many itineraries, it is a financially smart choice. Go Rentals, one of New Zealand's most reputable rental operators, offers Tesla model vehicles out of both Auckland and Christchurch. There are other operators as well. Check out the rental car comparison links in the description box below. So a petrol car at current prices costs you approximately New Zealand $140 to cover 400 kilometers. The same distance in a Tesla charged on a New Zealand's ChargeNet network station costs you $20 to $30. You will save $80 to $100 per 400 kilometers. On a full 2,000 kilometers South Island itinerary, you're potentially looking at $400 to $500 savings compared to a petrol rental. You still need to calculate that EV rental cars are often more expensive than petrol rental cars. ChargeNet operates over 400 charging stations across New Zealand, and there are more coming. The North Island is very well covered. The South Island for the main routes is now solidly covered. Here's the question I get asked most. Can you actually do a South Island in an EV without worrying about the amount of charging stations? I will give you the honest answer section by section. So if you travel between Christchurch and Queenstown, it's approximately 480 kilometers if you travel directly. So you want to top up the charge at Lake Tekapo or Twizel. Both have ChargeNet stations. Tianau to Milford Sound on a day trip is around about 120 kilometers each way, so 240. Very comfortable on a single charge. So the real-world charge of modern EVs in these days is approximately 380 to 400 kilometers. That covers Christchurch to Dunedin one way, so it's all manageable with some basic planning. Now here's an exception in the South Island, and that is the West Coast. The stretch between Hokitika, Haast and Wanaka is remote, long, and therefore charging infrastructure is limited. Do your research with the ChargeNet app. I'll link it in the box below, and check also with your accommodations if they provide charging stations, which does happen now more and more. So an EV rental is not only viable, it removes the fuel crisis from your equation entirely and saves you real money. But as the EV fleets are still limited and demand is rising, you need to book those EVs at least 6 to 8 months ahead. Don't leave those bookings until you just depart home, because the fleets will be gone by then. So whether you're going petrol or EV, here are 6 practical tools to manage your transport costs on a 2026 New Zealand road trip. Number 1, download the 𝗤𝗄𝗃 app. 𝗤𝗄𝗃 is a free New Zealand app showing real-time petrol prices by location. Savings of 10 to 20 cents per litre are common when you use it to route to a cheaper nearby petrol station. Number 2, collect fuel discount dockets. Many New Zealand supermarkets partner with fuel brands like Caltex, 𝗏 or Mobile in particular. Every docket you collect gives you 6 to 10 cents per litre off for your next fill. Keep them all. Also check the Caltex app. Number 3, fill up in cities, not tourist towns. This catches international travelers out every single time. Fuel in Queenstown, Tirana and Franz Joseph typically runs 20 to 30 cents costlier than in cities like Christchurch or Invercargill. Fill your tank before you head into those scenic areas, not when you arrive there. Number 4, check the fuel economy. When comparing rental cars, look at the fuel consumption, not just the daily rate. A Toyota Corolla hybrid will cost you dramatically less to run than a larger SUV across a 2,000-kilometer itinerary. It's worth thinking about that. Most booking platforms list those. See the link to the comparison websites below. Number 5, try to minimize your driving and using domestic flights, which can save you a lot of time and a lot of money. Number 6, consider guided options for fuel-heavy legs like Milford Sound day trip from Queenstown is around about 600 kilometers round trip. At today's fuel prices, a guided coach tour from Queenstown, which includes stops, commentary and local knowledge, is comparable in cost to driving yourself once fuel is factored in and you arrive rested. I've put some links with the best options into the description box below. So which of these 6 recommendations is most useful to you? Drop me a line in the comments box below. I'd love to know. So here we are. Do not cancel your New Zealand road trip because of fuel prices. The real cost impact on a typical 14-day South Island self-drive itinerary is around 300 to 400 New Zealand dollars more than you would have had about 3 to 4 months ago. Right, check out my New Zealand rental car secret video up here, also linked in the box below. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video.